here. Uh, Forgot about it. And I'm starting to look like Blackadder. And the farming protests in Europe. Don't be confusing Irish farmers protesting with the European ones like the Germans and the French and the Dutch. They're just opportunists, them ones. Now, while I do have respect, great respect for a small percentage of Irish farmers that really do love the land and really are the legacy farmers, there's very few of them left. I mean, the Pat Noons of this world and farmers like that. I know some. I'm friends with them, and they're great people. And they would be the first ones to tell you that the Irish farmers as a whole are just a bunch of agri-grifters. And the ones you see protest, I see all the Irish alternative scene. Oh, the Irish farmers are on board. No, they're not. They're just seeing an opportunity for another hustle. Ireland, the majority, when I say the majority, I say 80% plus, 90% plus of Irish farmers are just subsidy grifters. That's all they are. Now, like I said, the 10% who are not are wonderful people, and I'm completely on their side. But they're not protesting. They're out in the field taking care of their animals. They're too busy. The rest, most of these farmers, you will see, the Irish farmers are now looking at the German ones and going, "Jesus, boyo, how can we get a few bob out of this now?" That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing, and they're saying, "Jesus, let me tell you what the average Irish farmer's life is like." Okay, forget your dreams of rustic peasants with a rake in his hand and a bilb hook going out to trim the hedges. Yeah, they do exist. There's a few of them, and those I support. Think of a guy living in a mansion with 10 rooms, with all the latest tractors and gear, with every single one of his kids getting paid through university because they're farmers' children, with all kinds of sitting at home and money coming in big checks every month, who does farming as a philosophical thing when his real thing is he's a landlord, a property developer, and he's involved in all kinds of shady business deals and with politicians. The Irish Farmers Association is an absolute abomination. It comes from the same kind of Irish culture monstrosities as things like the Gaelic Athletic Association. It's all about, and the Irish Catholic Church when it had power, like Fianna Fáil and all these types. It's about lining your own pockets. I'm all right, bio. There's a few bob in there for you, that kind of thing. And they're just grifters and thieves, and so the ones who are protesting don't support them. They come up to Dublin every so often. They spin their lights on the motorway, going, they're GAA flags. They don't even care about being Irish, and that's one of the reasons I can't stand the GAA. It took away Irish national identity and replaced it with parochialism. That's why we never achieve as a nation, because the athletes that should be winning. I've talked about this before, gold medals in the Olympics are, in some shitty field in fucking, Tipperary every Sunday afternoon on an inter-parish grudge match, because their dad was a real GAA man, But the don't be don't the Irish Farmers Association, you know judge Irish farmers like you judge every other person on their personality, and you will meet the old fashioned Irish farmers who do have a love of the land, love their animals, and are that lineage. But the ones protesting, they're just professional grifters, and many farmers I guarantee you that many of those ones driving through Dublin now with the tractors, they're nearly all millionaires. Millionaires. I'm serious. I'm not joking about that. I'm not making that up. They're millionaires, and they're involved in property development, property speculation, land development, um, landlords, and they're getting all kinds of freebies because apparently they're supposed to be impoverished because they're farmers. They're not. They're a profession. They're a gangster operation. So those of you, if you know an Irish farmer who's someone has a love of the land, support him or her. Don't be blanket supporting some organised protest by some professional grifters on the make. And that's what those guys riding around Dublin on tractors are. They're not to be compared with the French and German. The farmers in this country, the ones who go for the Irish. Well, you see, there's Irish farmers, I'm talking about the regular ones, the tiny minority, the 10 percenters. And then there's the IFA, the Irish Farmers Association. They're all grifters. That's a big money making scam, and a big corruption thing. And so don't be supporting those gangsters. You see them driving around Dublin with the sirens going. They're not doing it for the same reason the French ones are in France or the German ones are in Berlin. They're in it for purely they keep the gravy train going. They're like, see, the corruption. See, Ireland does have a massive organised crime operation, but it's not gangs. It's not like criminal gangs. It's the civil service, the Irish Farmers Association, the Gaelic Athletic Association, the Fianna Fáil crime family, as I used to call them, the public sector trade unions. These are the ones who are the enemies of the true Irish working class, both rural and urban. And you could go into rural Ireland and you'd meet an ordinary person there, and very few of them have any nice things to say about farmers. The farmer's the guy who lives in a mansion, the South Fork on the top of the hill. Now, like I said, I'm not stereotyping all farmers. There's some wonderful Irish farmers out there, but sadly, they're 10% in the game right now. Don't be supporting that IFA protest.